This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 354.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, oral for error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one event to talk about. State of the Word. That is right. December 17th, 2020. Matt Mullenweg will go live via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 1600 UTC. State of the Word is the typical standard where he talks about what's going on in WordPress at WordCamp US in the past 4 or 5 years. Since there is no WordCamp US virtual or digital, he's going to just do it as a standalone event. And you can send questions in. You can send those to ask-matt@wordcamp.org. And try to keep your video. You can also do videos as well. Send a video if you want through YouTube. They ask that you try to do it under a minute, and so that we can get through as many as you can. And it'll be live, and I'll be watching. And maybe we should do a watch party. That'd be kind of cool. Let me know if you want to do a watch party with me. All right, is that it? Yeah, that's it for in the news. And what else? Yeah, also in this segment, we're talking about job opportunities. My friend Elisa, who was on episode 237 of this very podcast, she runs an agency here in North Carolina in the Durham area called Unity Web Agency. She's hiring a junior WordPress accessibility developer. Pretty cool. I'm not qualified, nor am I applying, but I believe she's looking for somebody local, but that's for conversation with her. There'll be a link in the show notes about that job opportunity. Check it out if you are interested. All right, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. WordPress 5.6 is due tomorrow from when this episode drops on the 7th, December 8th. Yeah, that's it. It's tomorrow from when you're listening. Anyway, so WordPress 5.6 is due out tomorrow. Not sure what time they're planning on that, but it should come out. Make sure you have backups of your current site before you update is my recommendation. Also in the news is there's discussion. There was a post by Angela Jin, another friend of mine. She posted about how can WordPress community return to hosting safe in-person events because of COVID-19 pandemic, etc. All the events would be online through the end of 2020. And right now, the 2021 flagship events also going to be online, meaning I think WordCamp US, Europe, Asia, etc. So there's a long conversation going on about the thoughts there, about whether people are be required to have a vaccine, the travel, all that kind of thing. So check that out if you're interested there as well. It should be interesting. I'm really hoping we come back to, quote, a normal sometime next year. It'd be nice. I really, really, really miss going to camps and going to conferences and speaking in person. I've been doing a lot more recently in this last quarter of the year on Zoom because I was a little burnt out early on. And but I definitely miss seeing all of you at all those events. So this was the lowest number of WordCamps I've ever been to this year. I went to 1. So kind of sad. All right, moving on to segment 2, the meat and potatoes. But first, a word from our sponsor this week.
Did you hear that? That's the sound I hear when someone buys some content from my WordPress membership site. I do love that sound. How did I do it? Was it difficult? Not at all. Thanks to Restrict Content Pro by iThemes. Restrict Content Pro is a full-featured, powerful membership solution that's super simple to set up. Need to connect to an email provider for member emails and ongoing marketing? Well, that won't be a problem either. Restrict Content Pro integrates with MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Aweber, and ConvertKit, and other popular services. What about reporting and membership management? It's built in. Yep. Restrict Content Pro has thought of it all. Prices starting at $99 for a single site, and listeners of this podcast get 25% off. Yes, 25% when you use the discount code SYNCWP at checkout. So head over to restrictcontentpro.com to learn more.
And thanks again to them for sponsoring this week's episode. Really do appreciate having you on board. All right, moving on. The meat potatoes. This week's episode is the holiday gift guide and my ideas for that. As this time of the episode of this time of the year, there are currently 19 days until Boxing Day, 19 days also until Kwanzaa, 18 days until Christmas, 16 days until Festivus, and 3 days until Hanukkah. So now it's time to know what to get people. This year I'm breaking it up into about 3-4 segments. Gifts for geeky friends, gifts for family, gifts for clients, and gifts for staff. In no specific real order here. Well, there is an order. So let's start with staff and employees. Okay. Now, ideally, you've paid attention over the past year or years that people might be working with you or for you. I like to say with you. Know maybe what they're into, their books, their hobbies, their activities, and the like. If so, I would really want to recommend that you go that route. Let's say someone likes to knit or they like to craft. Ordering something custom, like over off of a site like Etsy, would be a great idea. It's a little bit more personal versus just the gift card, if you will. That said, try to match it. And to go, in art supplies or crafting supplies or wine or coffee, if they're into that thing that you've paid attention to, you've taken notes, or a book on a specific topic, I think that says a lot about the team that you work with every day to do what you do every day. And I just want to indicate that I'm really hopeful that that's what you can do. Okay, so if you want to go the added mile, I would recommend find a shop in the area they live in and get a gift card from that local vendor, or order something from that local vendor, which helps their local economy. It's all the better. Okay. Another solid gift, I think, for staff, in my opinion, this year, for some odd reason, as odd as it may sound, are candles. I believe this year candles are a very calming influence. The scent, it puts people in a certain mood. It's calming, like I said, and just make sure they like a certain scent. If they like vanilla, or if they like chocolate, or whatever it may be, or apple cinnamon, or mocha, I don't know. But candles are, I think, a pretty cool gift idea this year for staff or employees. And lastly, you might want to stay away from getting things done type of books or courses or whatnot because, well, unless you know them well, it might send the wrong message of what you're expecting from them in 2021. That's just my opinion there. Okay, moving on to family and friends, but friends and family. It's a little tougher because it just is. It can be tougher. I'm going to start with some smart tech, as we're always at home these days. I think the smart tech is pretty cool. Go with a smart speaker, possibly. We are an Amazon Echo Dot family here in this household. Apple makes the HomePod, Google makes their speaker. They all work. They all have different pros and cons, and they're relatively inexpensive, starting like at $24, pretty easy to do. How about also a smart bulb or plug? I'm a big fan of the Eufy smart plugs and Eufy Bulbs. Pretty low cost as well, about $20 a pop there. Wyze cameras. I have like 4 of them now in the house. And the reason I like the Wyze cameras is they're cheap. They're $25. Put one on the window or outside, and you can see if you're in a home office upstairs when packages arrive, who's outside, maybe who's in your backyard while sitting in your home office. And lastly, I think a pair of Bose noise-canceling headphones, or any decent noise-canceling headphones, is a great way to block out the extra noise that we all have to deal with while working from home all the time right now. Okay. Now, gifts for geeky friends. This is kind of a subsection of your friends and family, but something else here. Raspberry Pi starter kit. This could be a great way to get someone interested in something outside of their day-to-day work, inside of WordPress, let's say, or inside of whatever they happen to be doing. It's Raspberry Pi. They're inexpensive. They start at I think $100 for the whole kit. Pretty cool, pretty neat stuff there. Especially if they're geeky and they want to get into that kind of programming type of thing. You can give them a subscription to an online course or service like Masterclass or Audible. And lastly, I think what's kind of cool for anyone, geeky or friends or family, a pair of blue light blocking glasses. My kids got these recently. 2 of my kids had some headaches because they've been online all the time through Zoom calls and Google Classrooms. So they bought them. They bought them themselves off of Amazon. I think they paid like $10 for 5 pairs. So check that, blue light blocking glasses. And they're kind of fashionable too. My kids actually just wear them around the house, which kind of annoys me because I wear glasses because I can't see. Anyway, I digress. All right, moving on to clients. Now, clients are always a toughie. What do you do? Do you do the card as a thank you? Do you give them a gift basket? Do you send them alcohol? Do you send them swag? Well, it just depends on that relationship. I think nothing wrong with a bare minimum of a card. I think you can send them a basket. Again, it comes down to what's the reason? Do you like them? Do you not like them? I mean, it's kind of a tough call. Alcohol, always tough. I don't necessarily recommend that. I think you're better off sending maybe more of a cheese and fruit basket. I just think alcohol can be tricky just because of shipping alcohol, but also because you don't know people's place in the world or whether they drink or agree or don't agree anymore. And then swag. Having someone else that paid you to get something of your logo on Is it your logo or their logo? If it's their logo, totally great. If it's your logo, I think you're maybe going the wrong direction with that. Now, you could send swag to your staff of the company, of your own company. That makes sense. That'd be actually a great little crossover there. So if you have a hoodie or beanies or socks, that'd be kind of cool. Okay. So there you go. And then two more little sections here. Actually, one more little section. Not to forget our canines and felines, yours or even someone else's. Don't forget about treats, a spa day, or even like a gift card to like a Rover or type of walking gift, a service for boarding. Maybe the owner or the human owner of that pet needs a break. Maybe needs some help. So maybe get that person a little treat of some sort. So something to think about. So there you go. All these will be in the show notes and links to them as well. And some of them are affiliate links. I make like 10 cents, if that, for anything. So just to be full disclosure there, keeps the lights on here. So there you go. All right. Moving on to segment 3, the tip and tool of the week. This week, it's a website. It's silly. It's fun. It's duckhuntjs.com. For those of you of a certain age, it's a JavaScript version of the game Duck Hunt on your web browser. It's pretty funny. Check it out over at duckhuntjs.com. Use the mouse to shoot down the ducks. And you can actually create your own levels as well. So there you go. Okay. So that is it this week. I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use a speak pipe function on the website. You can support the show, become a Patreon, also on the website. You can sponsor the show just like iThemes did. There's a form there. Thanks again to Restrict Content Pro from iThemes for sponsoring this week's episode. And we'll see you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right? Bye-bye.